Nostalgia is a quiet excavation. It asks the mind to unearth fragments of memory, to sift through the sediment of experience in search of warmth, meaning, or familiarity. Sometimes the search is gentle, sometimes it is urgent, a longing for a past that feels more coherent, more comforting, more complete than the present. Nostalgia mining is more than reminiscence. It is an intentional return, a conscious or unconscious excavation of emotion, sensation, and identity. The mind revisits old streets, voices, smells, and gestures, reconstructing life as it once was, or as it might have been imagined. This journey is at once soothing and bittersweet, revealing how memory shapes perception, desire, and the self. This story explores the psychology of nostalgia mining, how humans retrieve, reconstruct, and romanticize memory, why some dwell in the past while others release it, and how longing for what once was can both comfort and constrain. The past has a gravity all its own. It tugs at attention, pulling thought backward through the corridors of memory. A song, a scent, a fleeting image. Any fragment can awaken it, summoning a presence that feels both distant and intimate. The pull is quiet at first, almost imperceptible, then undeniable, a soft insistence that the mind pause, turn, and remember. Nostalgia is a bridge between who we were and who we are. It is not mere recall, it is emotional resonance, a re-experiencing of life filtered through longing and reflection. The mind does not simply replay events, it immerses, savoring sensation, reconstructing feeling, and reweaving meaning. Moments gain warmth, edges soften, and what was once mundane becomes significant in the architecture of memory. This pull is both comforting and bittersweet. The mind seeks familiarity, emotional connection, or a sense of coherence absent from the present. The past may feel safer, richer, or simpler, offering a contrast to uncertainty, complexity, or disappointment. Yet this attraction carries subtle melancholy, the recognition that what is recalled cannot be fully returned to, no matter how vividly imagined. Certain memories possess magnetism. Childhood streets, old friendships, or first experiences often hold disproportionate weight. The mind identifies these anchors, returning to them repeatedly. The reasons are varied: emotion, significance, or unresolved longing, but the effect is consistent, a gentle compulsion to mine memory for meaning, comfort, or identity. The sensation of nostalgia often begins unconsciously. A scent of rain on warm pavement, a melody from years past, the laughter of a familiar voice. These triggers awaken entire landscapes of memory. The mind retrieves texture, sound, smell, and emotion, layering them into a vivid experience. Time collapses, past and present overlapping, creating an intimate dialogue between what was and what is. Nostalgia is both personal and universal. Every mind carries a treasury of moments that evoke longing, reflection, and recognition. Some are joyful, some tinged with regret. All are imbued with significance because they mark who we were, what we valued, and what shaped us. In mining these memories, we navigate both emotion and identity, exploring the contours of the self through echoes of experience. Yet the pull of the past is not always safe. It can create illusions, inviting romanticized reconstructions that obscure reality. It can soothe, but also distract, leading the mind to linger where it cannot truly dwell. Even so, the initial pull remains irresistible, a quiet, intimate call to remember, to feel, and to reconnect. In this tension lies the essence of nostalgia mining. It is a journey backward with awareness, a conscious or unconscious excavation of memory, sensation, and meaning. The mind reaches for fragments that resonate, assembling them into a tapestry that both comforts and challenges, delights and reminds. The pull of the past is a gentle insistence: remember, reflect, feel. It opens a doorway into the landscapes of emotion, identity, and time, inviting attention without demand, and offering insight through the act of remembrance itself. Nostalgia does not appear spontaneously. It has roots, deep and intertwined. In the soil of experience, childhood is often the richest source. Early moments of joy, discovery, or safety leave indelible traces. A warm home, a familiar voice, or the rhythm of family life becomes encoded not only in memory but in emotion, creating a repository the mind will revisit for years. Formative experiences shape the landscape of longing. Moments of first love, first loss, or first achievement carry disproportionate weight. The mind marks them as significant, and their emotional resonance persists, surfacing in later life as an almost magnetic pull. Even small details, a smell, a taste, a phrase can anchor memory to meaning, offering comfort or insight when mined intentionally. Temperament influences the tendency toward nostalgia. Some individuals are naturally reflective, attentive to emotion and nuance, and predisposed to savor the past. Others may engage rarely or superficially, preferring immediacy over reflection. The disposition toward memory excavation is neither flaw nor virtue, but a natural variation of human perception and emotional depth. The emotional intensity of early experience matters. Moments charged with joy, fear, or sorrow embed more deeply, persisting in subtle ways that can shape adult behavior. Even fleeting experiences, first friendship, a hidden corner of a playground, a brief victory or defeat, may become touchstones of identity and memory. The mind returns to them repeatedly, seeking resonance, affirmation, or understanding. Family and cultural context provide fertile ground for nostalgia. Stories told, photographs kept, rituals repeated, all reinforce the importance of remembering. Traditions and shared histories create continuity, linking past generations to the present self. The mind, already drawn to emotional significance, finds in these markers a ready source of nostalgic mining. Loss and absence amplify the pull of memory. What is missing, departed loved ones, forgotten places, or abandoned dreams, exerts a silent gravity. The mind seeks to reconstruct, relive, or reclaim, creating emotional resonance even from absence. This longing is often bittersweet, mingling grief with warmth. Early coping strategies also shape nostalgic tendencies. Children and adolescents who find comfort in memory, imagination, or reflection learn to revisit the past for reassurance. These patterns often persist into adulthood, where nostalgia becomes both refuge and lens, a way of navigating complexity through familiar emotional terrain. The roots of nostalgia reveal a subtle paradox. They provide both comfort and constraint, grounding and longing, insight and illusion. They are the foundation upon which the mind builds its emotional landscapes, offering a connection to identity, memory, and meaning. To understand nostalgia is to trace these roots, to see how experience, temperament, and context converge to create a powerful, enduring pull toward the past. In recognizing these origins, we understand why some memories call more urgently than others, why longing arises so naturally, and why the mind repeatedly turns to what has already passed. Nostalgia is not accidental, it is cultivated, nurtured by life itself, and harvested by the reflective, attentive human mind. Memory is never static, it is not a photograph, but a living reconstruction, assembled anew each time it is recalled. The mind does not merely retrieve the past, it rebuilds it, layer by layer, interweaving fact, perception, and imagination. This reconstruction allows the past to feel vivid, emotionally resonant, and meaningful, yet it is always filtered through the lens of the present. Selective memory is the first sculptor. Certain moments are emphasized, others quietly faded into the background. Details that evoke warmth, safety, or significance are amplified. Those that bring discomfort or ambiguity are softened or omitted. The mind curates memory much like an archivist, highlighting what sustains identity, values, or emotional coherence. Emotion colors perception. Joy may be remembered as brighter, sadness as more poignant, moments of wonder as eternal. The effective tone of recollection shapes the narrative, ensuring that memories resonate not only with events but with feeling. Even small stimuli, a laugh, a scent, a light through a window, can anchor entire experiences in emotional intensity. Imagination completes the reconstruction. Gaps in memory are filled, details interpolated, and scenes reconstructed to create a coherent story. This is not necessarily distortion, it is the mind's attempt to understand, interpret, and preserve significance. Memory becomes both accurate and artful, a fusion of reality and the emotional truth it carries. Narrative formation is central to nostalgia. The mind organizes experiences into stories with meaning, causality, and connection. Childhood summers, first friendships, or family rituals are not recalled as isolated events, but as chapters in a larger, personal tale. This storytelling amplifies the emotional pull, creating coherence where time and distance have scattered the fragments. The passage of time reshapes memory. Recollection in adulthood is colored by reflection, experience, and current perspective. What seemed ordinary in the moment may now feel extraordinary. What once was trivial may now carry profound significance. Nostalgia mining is, in essence, a dialogue between the past and present, where memory is interpreted through the lens of who we have become. Even inaccuracies serve a purpose. Memories reshaped by emotion or imagination are not failures, they are tools for meaning-making. The mind seeks continuity, coherence, and reassurance, even if the reconstruction idealizes or romanticizes reality. Through this process, the past becomes emotionally accessible, psychologically sustaining, and intimately connected to identity. Memory reconstruction also explains why nostalgia can feel bittersweet. The past is both present and absent, real and imagined. Its resonance is heightened precisely because it is partially unattainable, partially idealized, and partially true. The emotional richness of what is remembered lies in the interplay between fact, feeling, and imagination. Ultimately, nostalgia mining is an act of creative cognition. It is the mind's way of revisiting life with care, attention, and emotional nuance. Through selective memory, effective coloring, and narrative reconstruction, the past becomes more than a record, it becomes a living, breathing terrain for reflection, comfort, and identity. The human brain, in reconstructing memory, creates a bridge between what was and what is, a bridge both real and imagined. Comforting and illuminating, fleeting and enduring. Nostalgia, then, is not mere longing, it is a carefully mined, consciously or unconsciously crafted emotional archive that shapes perception, identity, and the rhythms of daily life. Memory is never neutral. Even the smallest recollection carries emotion like a shadow trailing its source. A childhood song, a familiar scent, or a forgotten phrase can awaken warmth, tenderness, or a quiet ache. The mind does not simply recall, it re-feels, and the body often joins in, echoing the resonance of what once was. Nostalgia carries both comfort and pain. It can soothe, reminding the self of belonging, love, and connection. A smile from the past, a moment of triumph, or the laughter of someone now distant becomes a balm for the present. Yet even as it comforts, nostalgia can deepen longing, an awareness of loss, of time past, or of moments that cannot be revisited. Bittersweet emotion defines much of nostalgia. Happiness and melancholy intertwine, inseparable. One feels joy for having experienced something precious and sorrow for its absence. The mind, in mining these memories, experiences a duality: warmth and ache, familiarity and distance, certainty and impermanence. Longing is subtle yet persistent. The mind may dwell on remembered places, faces, or moments as though seeking to inhabit them again. This yearning is not always conscious. It can emerge as restlessness, wistfulness, or a fleeting sadness without obvious cause. The emotional resonance of memory is powerful precisely because it bridges absence and presence, past and now. Emotion shapes the way memory is experienced. Some recollections evoke pride, gratitude, or joy, others awaken regret, guilt, or missed opportunity. Even neutral events can take on emotional weight over time, as reflection colors perception and the narrative of the self evolves. Memory becomes a living space for feeling, where the emotional significance often surpasses factual detail. Social and relational layers intensify resonance. Friends, family, and shared experiences often anchor the most potent memories. The laughter of a sibling, the guidance of a mentor, or the camaraderie of peers becomes a sensory and emotional anchor. The mind revisits these relationships to relive connection, to reconstruct belonging, or to understand patterns of attachment and affection. Nostalgia also informs the present mood. A fleeting memory can shift perception, soften judgment, or awaken gratitude. It can influence choices subtly, encouraging reflection on what matters, what was valued, and what remains significant. The past is mined not just for comfort but for guidance, shaping the emotional landscape of current experience. Yet the emotional resonance of memory is a double-edged sword. Too much dwelling can anchor the self in absence, idealization, or longing, creating distance from present life. The mind may romanticize or inflate memories, reinforcing a contrast between past and present that is impossible to reconcile fully. The emotional intensity of nostalgia, when unbalanced, can foster subtle melancholy or restlessness. Even so, emotional resonance is what gives nostalgia its power. It is why memory matters, why the past continues to call, and why reflection feels profound. Through this emotional connection, life becomes layered, rich with texture, color, and depth beyond the immediate moment. The past is not merely remembered, it is felt, integrated, and given life through emotional attention. Ultimately, nostalgia mining is an act of emotional attunement. It is a conscious or unconscious excavation that engages heart, mind, and body. Through the interplay of comfort, longing, and bittersweet reflection, memory shapes identity, informs perspective, and enriches the ongoing narrative of self. Emotion gives the past its gravity, and the mind its incentive to mine it. Nostalgia is a sanctuary, a quiet retreat from the demands of the present. It allows the mind to wander back to spaces that feel safe, familiar, and coherent, even when the current world is unpredictable, fragmented, or overwhelming. The act of revisiting memory can soothe the anxiety, calm restlessness, and provide a sense of continuity in a life that often feels disjointed. Yet sanctuary carries its own risk. When the mind lingers too long in the past, memory can become a refuge rather than a resource. The reconstructed moments may be softened, idealized, or incomplete, creating an emotional landscape that contrasts sharply with the present. The pull of comfort can obscure reality, delaying engagement with what is immediate and necessary. Escapism in nostalgia is subtle. It is rarely a conscious avoidance, more often a gentle retreat into emotional resonance. A familiar song, an old photograph, a letter long kept, each offers a portal to what was a temporary reprieve from complexity, challenge, or discomfort. This is not inherently harmful. It can restore energy, perspective, or emotional balance. Reflection, however, transforms nostalgia from escapism into insight. By engaging actively with memory, questioning, observing, and contextualizing, the mind can glean understanding rather than mere comfort. It can ask, what made this moment significant? How did it shape me? What does it reveal about my values, desires, or patterns? Reflection turns nostalgia into a tool for self-awareness rather than a trap of longing. The tension between comfort and distortion is delicate. Memories mined for relief can be seductive, encouraging idealization, exaggeration, or selective recall. The mind may amplify joy, soften conflict, or omit detail, producing a narrative that feels satisfying but departs from reality. Unchecked, this can foster disillusionment, subtle dissatisfaction with the present, or an unspoken yearning for a past that never fully existed. Mindful engagement balances this pull, Nostalgia can be honored for what it offers: emotional warmth, connection, or insight, while maintaining awareness of its limits. The past becomes a mirror rather than a refuge, a teacher rather than a sanctuary, and a resource for understanding rather than a space to linger indefinitely. Escapism and reflection coexist within nostalgia mining. The mind naturally seeks comfort, yet it also seeks meaning. Those who navigate this tension consciously gain both emotional restoration and perspective, tenderness and insight, connection and discernment. Memory is neither enemy nor illusion. It is a landscape to explore, a river to navigate, and a lens through which life can be examined. Ultimately, nostalgia is a dance between longing and understanding. Escapism offers reprieve, but reflection provides depth. The individual learns to appreciate the past for its emotional resonance while remaining rooted in the present, transforming longing into clarity and memory into wisdom. Memory is the scaffold of self. The past is not merely a sequence of events but a repository of experiences that define who we are. Nostalgia mining is a deliberate or unconscious excavation of this repository, connecting fragments of memory to the ongoing narrative of identity. Each recollection is a thread, weaving together perception, feeling, and understanding into the fabric of selfhood. The stories we tell ourselves about the past shape how we see the present. A childhood ritual, a first achievement, or a formative relationship becomes more than memory, it becomes meaning. Through these recollections, we recognize patterns in thought, preference, and behavior, and find continuity across the shifting landscapes of life. Nostalgia affirms identity by reminding the mind who it has been, what it has valued, and what it carries forward. Personal values often emerge through nostalgia. Memories of generosity, loyalty, courage, or creativity reinforce the traits we deem important. The mind revisits moments where these qualities were expressed or observed, anchoring ethical and emotional standards in lived experience. Memory thus serves both as mirror and compass, reflecting who we are and guiding who we aim to be. Nostalgia also shapes relational identity. The people who populate our recollections, parents, friends, mentors, companions, become markers of belonging, influence, and connection. Their presence in memory defines social understanding, empathy, and the way the self situates within communities. Mining these interactions deepens insight into attachment, expectation, and relational preference. Even imagined reconstructions play a role. Memory is rarely a perfect archive. It is interpreted, edited, and emotionalized. Yet these reconstructions reinforce identity by highlighting what resonates most deeply, what endures in feeling and significance, and what the self values over time. Idealized recollections are not deception, they are the mind's way of clarifying essence, prioritizing emotional truth over literal accuracy. Nostalgia fosters a sense of continuity across time. It bridges childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, connecting experiences that might otherwise feel disjointed. The mind maintains coherence of self through memory, allowing reflection to form a narrative in which past and present converse. This continuity is stabilizing, comforting, and psychologically sustaining. Yet nostalgia as identity carries subtle responsibility. Over-reliance on the past can anchor self-concept too firmly in memory, limiting growth, adaptation, and engagement with new experiences. Mindful mining preserves richness while preventing rigidity, allowing the past to inform, rather than imprison, the self. The goal is not to live in memory, but to allow it to illuminate the present. Ultimately, nostalgia anchors identity in depth and nuance. It provides a lens for self-understanding, a repository of emotional and relational insight, and a means of connecting past choices and experiences to current self-concept. Through mindful recollection, the mind integrates memory with awareness, creating a stable yet flexible identity that honors history while remaining present. In this way, nostalgia mining is not only an emotional practice, it is an act of self-definition. By engaging with memory thoughtfully, the individual affirms continuity, meaning, and authenticity, crafting a self that is aware of its past yet fully capable of inhabiting the present. The past is a companion, not a destination. Nostalgia mining allows the mind to revisit what once was, to feel its textures, and to acknowledge its influence. But the present is the only place where life unfolds. To dwell too long in memory is to risk disconnection from what is immediate, tangible, and alive. Harmonization begins with awareness. The individual recognizes the allure of nostalgia without surrendering to it. They allow memory to surface, feel its resonance, and observe its impact, while remaining grounded in the present moment. Reflection becomes a gentle conversation rather than a retreat, an invitation to insight rather than an escape. Integration requires balance. The warmth of memory can inform decision-making, perspective, and emotional grounding, while the reality of current life provides context, challenge, and opportunity. The mind learns to move fluidly between past and present, mining meaning without being trapped, honoring longing without letting it dominate. Time itself becomes a teacher. The passage of years highlights what was significant, what lessons endure, and what is left behind. Memory and experience interact, reshaping perception of both the past and the present. Through this dialogue, the individual gains clarity, emotional resilience, and an enriched understanding of self. Nostalgia also deepens appreciation. Moments remembered with tenderness and insight enhance gratitude for the present. The individual recognizes patterns, values, and joys that persist, and carries them into current life. The past becomes a foundation for engagement rather than a refuge from it. Acceptance is central. The mind learns to hold the past gently, acknowledging its power without granting it dominion. Loss, change, and imperfection are embraced as natural aspects of life, and nostalgia is allowed to be both beautiful and incomplete. Through acceptance, the self maintains coherence, warmth, and emotional richness while remaining anchored in reality. Emotion, memory, and reflection converge in harmony. The individual cultivates the capacity to feel deeply, remember vividly, and live presently. Memory becomes a teacher, a mirror and a source of continuity, while the present becomes the canvas for choice, engagement, and growth. Ultimately, nostalgia mining is a practice of mindful presence. It honors the past for its lessons and resonance, enriches identity and fosters continuity, yet it does not overshadow the immediacy of now. The mind learns to navigate time with grace, attending to memory and current experience in equal measure. In harmonizing past and present, life becomes layered and profound. Memory offers depth, insight, and emotional richness, while the present offers action, awareness, and vitality. Together, they create a life that is conscious, resonant, and whole, a life in which the past informs the present without confining it. Nostalgia, when mined with care, is neither escape nor obsession. It is a bridge, a lens, and a companion, illuminating the self, enriching perception, and allowing the mind to inhabit time with understanding, tenderness, and grace.